What is Scooby? What's going on? I'm already choked up. So excited to start talking about about my topics today. I choked myself up. What it do? Welcome back to After the Snap and Stream Something Sunday. My name is Tasha Pierce, and I'm your host. So, what we do here on Sundays is series recaps, streaming movies, the such, the such. And today, let's see, what it do. I'm gonna guess that this is Mrs. Lark masquerading as her husband, as she is known to do. So what it do, Davina? Yeah, so what we do on Sundays is recap streaming series, talk about streaming movies. We stream. That's why it's called Stream Something Sunday, duh. So yeah, this week we've got some Star Trek Prodigy to discuss. We've got Red Notice from Netflix to discuss, and then we're gonna do some pre-gaming for a series that I'm super duper excited about, which is The Wheel of Time. That one is coming on Amazon Prime Video. I'm super excited for it. We're going to get to that one as well today. What it do, Lysandra? What it do? Uh, how are you today? I hope everything's well. I hope you're doing well today. So yeah, that's what I'm getting into. Star Trek Prodigy, Red Notice, Wheel of Time. And then after that, hey, let me tell you, on Sundays, I've got 3 hours blocked off to do this thing. But if I don't get no energy from out there, it's going to end as soon as I finish saying the last word that is part of my script. So you all are going to dictate whether whether or not I work for a little while today or a long while today. So yeah, I'm super excited to share Star Trek news because Star Trek fans, we winning. We winning right now. Um, we get the next week we get the mid-season finale of Star Trek Prodigy, and then we also get the beginning of Star Trek Discovery. We got some great news in the fact that we at least have a Star Trek movie on the horizon. So that's always good news. And then Prodigy is returning after their mid-season hiatus. It's returning on January 6th, very shortly after my birthday. So we get even more Star Trek Prodigy, another 10 episodes. So I'm super duper excited to just keep things going in the Star Trek direction. Now, this week's episode of Star Trek Prodigy was called Dreamcatcher. This is season 1, episode 4 of Star Trek Prodigy. And guess what it did? Well, first, let me tell you what it's about before I tell you what it did. um, the crew has their first away mission on an undiscovered planet that manifests their deepest desires, only to realize the planet has desires of its own. And from this point on, in this her production, be careful, tread lightly, because if you do not want to be spoiled, this might not be the place for you. So here is your warning. From this point on, you've been warned. I'm about to maybe not drop huge spoiler bombs unless somebody in the chat wants to deepen the discussion, but I am definitely want to spoil the heck out of season 1, episode 4 of Star Trek Prodigy. So here we go. This one started with a captain's log. That's right, Mama Janeway is gathering these kids right on up. She's teaching them the ways of Starfleet the ways of the Federation, and she had our captain, Dow, she had him do a captain's log. So we listened. The first thing we got was him telling us what his plan was for that particular star date, which he didn't even know the number of. And it was like a juvenile effort at creating a captain's log, but it shows us that she is definitely giving them the leadership that they need to be successful in Starfleet if that's what they end up doing. Um, she also taught them how to use autopilot, and that kind of made them happy because they can move about the ship and the ship would basically navigate itself. I've got a feeling that that whole autopilot lesson is going to come back around in some way, shape, or form, but they definitely were taught how to use the autopilot. And autopilot is kind of like putting your car on cruise control, except for you don't even have to pay as much attention to the navigation on this starship as you would with your car. And you know how putting a car on cruise control can be pretty beneficial when you're taking like a long trip or something like that. So that's basically what the starship was doing. Now, as they are cruising through the system, the star system, they've run across a planet. It's an M-class planet, and it is in the Hirogen system. Dum, dum, dum. Because if you know your Star Trek, and some of us do, we would know that the Hirogen system might be a little dangerous, especially for a team of cadets. But Janeway wants them to go down to the surface of this planet and investigate because that is what Starfleet does. And those are the expectations of a Starfleet vessel when they run across a planet that is considered M class, which means that life can be sustained on this planet. In fact, humanoid life is very similar to the humanoids that are on the USS Protostar. But like I said, that's going to be a pretty tough system to navigate because the Hirogen are a hunter species. And because they hunt and that's all they do, they truly. I see you, Bun. Okay. They truly will hunt anything. And the more uh the more sentient the prey for them, the better. The kill becomes that much more important when you have a species that can kind of fight back. uh, so they're going to definitely, if they run into some Herodians, they are definitely going to be seen as prey and not anything to have any empathy for. This species is very ruthless, with all the way up to the point where it will not make its prey suffer. It will kind of like make it a quick kill. But we don't want these kids to get killed. Period. Like we don't want them to die. I don't want them to die. I'm pretty sure Janeway doesn't want them to die, even though she's a hologram. And um, I'm pretty sure the rest of the audience would like the rest of this season. So we don't want these kids to die. So Dow, of course, is still giving Janeway a little bit of back and forth about following orders. And she said, "Hey, you guys need to go down to this planet and investigate it. See if what kind of floral life that they have, or that kind of thing, because there was supposed to be no intelligent life forms on this planet." Well, Dow was like, "I'm not going." And she said, "Okay, well, if you don't go, then I'm going to report you to Starfleet Command." And for some reason, that bothered him. Now, he's not really a Starfleet cadet. He is pretending to be one because he's on his protostar. Either Janeway knows that they're not really part of Starfleet, or It's something going on there. I don't know why Dow would give one single care if she reported him to an authority that he doesn't respect. So I'm keeping my eye on that. Okay. Another thing that was kind of different about this episode is uh, the starship. It actually landed on the surface of a planet for this away mission. So it went down to this planet and landed. We don't usually see that in Star Trek. A lot of it, of course, is because most live action Star Trek, for them to land the ship on a planet, it can get to be kind of expensive, the special effects that is needed to do that. So it's easier to do it with this animated series. Um, and then Janeway tells the kids, hey, you guys go out there. I'm giving you an hour. You guys go out there and gather the information. I'm going to give you a tricorder, which is what you use uh, to test life. It's like a detection device. So a tricorder is a necessary piece of equipment anytime you're doing an away mission, as is a phaser. And these phasers that Janeway gave to the kids when they were going down on this planet looked a whole lot different than the phasers to me than we have seen in our live action tracks. It's another way that things are a little bit different in this animated series. They're a lot sleeker. They don't look bulky. They don't look heavy. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Um, and as soon as Jankum Pog, who is the Tellarite on the ship, as soon as he gets this thing, he shoots himself. Fortunately, Starfleet always keeps their default setting on these phasers at stun, which means it's just gonna knock you out for a little while. It ain't gonna hurt too much, depending upon how hard you hit the floor when you get stunned. um, Now here is a question I had, and I wish I had a diehard in here who could bounce back and forth with me on this point. Janeway didn't go along with them on the surface of this planet, and she said that it has to be a holographic environment for her to leave the ship. But if we remember in Voyager, the holographic doctor in Voyager had a hollow emitter, and this hollow emitter was also called a mobile emitter. It allowed this hologram to go off of the ship, to go. It was its own holographic environment. It made it where he was able to leave the ship, go on away missions, and all of that good stuff. So I'm wondering why, if this series is post Voyager, why wouldn't she have a mobile emitter? That's just something I'm gonna tuck away in the back of my brain because it's a hell of a question to me. So everybody leaves the ship except for Janeway, who is a hologram, and Gwen. Remember Gwen, the diviner's daughter? She is locked up in the brig. So she's been causing little problems. They locked her little butt up. Everybody leaves the ship. And then somehow she like summons her weapon. How? From the brig is she summoning this weapon? Like, is it like Mjolnir? Is it like the kind of telepathic type of connection that she might have with this weapon? We don't know. Keep your eyes on that. Also, if you are watching Star Trek Prodigy, because that's a hell of a question, because she could have, if she has a telepathic connection to this weapon, she could have gotten that weapon at any time. Why did she wait? Why didn't she make her move sooner? And then we find also that Gwen has been taught all of the ins and outs of the USS Protostar before the ship was even located by the diviner. So it makes us wonder, how did the diviner program this young lady to know everything about this ship if they hadn't even found it yet. Another thing to keep your eye on. I still am teetering on the belief that Gwen is not really related to the diviner. I hope that we get a little bit more of that relationship. I'm pretty sure they're not going to jump off in the first half of this season and show us whether or not he really is her daddy. But I'm keeping my eye on that situation as well, because there's so many situations that I got to watch for this, watch for that. I have been watching for so much because this series has been that well done. It's been that well done. Now, down on the planet, our little ragtag crew is finding that this planet seems to be plentiful in life, even though it wasn't detected by the equipment, our tricorders, or our the equipment on the USS Protostar. It seems to be teeming with life. I wonder why. Wonder why it wasn't able to be detected. Well, one of the things that that made it undetectable is that the planet itself seems to manifest whatever your deepest desire is. And so in exploring the deepest desires of this crew, we are finding out more and more about them. We learn a little bit about Rock Talk. When the deepest desire manifested for her was these little creatures that they were just cute little creatures, and they just loved her. And I think she just really, what she wanted is to feel an abundance of love. And this planet was giving that to her. At the same time, Zero was finding himself with scientific anomalies, things that are surprising to even him. And that's what his deepest desires is, to be mentally stimulated. And that is he was getting that scientific stimulation down there on the surface of this planet. Of course, now Jankum Pog, the Tellarite, who had knocked himself out with the phaser, yeah, him. When he got down on the surface of the planet, he found himself surrounded by food, a lot of his favorite foods. His deepest desire is to eat until he can't eat no more. And then Dow, who was supposed to be the captain of this crew, he kind of abandoned them as soon as they got on the planet. He went his way in a car because they got runaway vehicles on the USS Protostar. And I don't know if that's something that has been introduced in a Star Trek before and I just don't remember, or if this is something that is really new. But this, what is called a runaway vehicle, is a space car, and it is hooked all the way up to the nines with all the bells and whistles. He takes off, zoom, gone, left everybody. Now, I don't know what kind of captain would leave his crew in potential danger, but Dow did it. Well, when we find out what his deepest desire is that he wants to know or remember his parents. Such a sad thing. It's like when the planet was manifesting his desire, it showed two people of a species that is his species, but their backs were to him. And they never turned around because he does not remember what their faces look like, which gives us a little bit more insight as to how long Dal-Rel has been on his own, moving around throughout the Delta Quadrant. It's kind of sad. And then I guess Dow must have been thinking of Janeway, because she appeared on the surface of the planet telling him that they should stay. You guys should just stay here. And he like thinking to himself, well, wait a minute. Now, this lady just told me that she cannot leave the ship. So how is she down here on the planet with me? And that's when he realized something was wrong. and it kind of broke the spell. Now, even that fake Janeway, I'm gonna call her evil Janeway, even though evil Janeway down there on the planet still looked like Janeway, she knew this kid is different. He's too smart for his own good, and I am going to I'm gonna eat him. So basically, the planet wanted to keep these kids, the cadets, or our little group. They're not real Starfleet, but they're at least learning the Starfleet way. This planet wants to keep them down here so that it can feed off of them slowly. Dal realizes that this shit ain't right. So he gets in the little space car to run away, and he finds the rest of his crew. In the mean and in between, Gwen is on the ship taking over because, of course, she's been programmed to understand the ins and outs of this ship to the extent that she even knew how to reprogram Captain Janeway and make her basically only obey her. So now she at this point, I'm about to steal this ship. She gets the ship started and she begins to take off. But the planet's flora, remember that life, the only life that was supposed to be on this planet, the flora was holding the ship back, and it entangled itself in the nacelles of the ship and all of this stuff. I said I wasn't going to do a whole lot of spoilers, but I basically have just broken down this entire episode. But yeah, it the planet didn't want the ship to leave. Gwen is putting the ship into higher gears so that she can make her ascent off of this planet, and the planet is fighting back even more. So she decides, okay, this Flora, even Janeway on the ship, told her, "Hey, this thing is gonna pull this ship apart. You need to abandon ship." So she went to the vehicle replicator. She replicated herself a shuttlecraft, and she started to escape. But then the little ship's mascot, I think his name is Murph. I can't remember. Murph. I hope his name is Murph, because if not, I don't know where Murph came from. So Murph was trapped, was stuck, and we saw Gwen have I guess a sense of empathy for this creature. She slowed herself down from escaping the ship to save Murph. Okay, so on the planet again, back on the planet, this evil ass Janeway, it was like a horror movie. She had turned into part Janeway, part this living flora that's on this planet. It actually looked pretty darn scary. If you were, I don't know, depending on the age of the child, that might have been pretty scary to them, because I felt like it was horrific. The planet's life forms basically are not going to let them leave. And then I think to myself, well, this is one of the reasons why you probably shouldn't land on any planet. Oh, maybe they should have beamed down to the planet. Of course, you would have still run into the same problems getting back on the ship, because Gwen had already taken it over. But yeah, it might have been safer for them to beam around instead of coming down with the entire ship. And so I basically told the whole story in Tasha fashion. I don't know if how many people are watching Star Trek Prodigy, but I'm telling you, even though it is not made for people my age, it does hold my attention. It is very well done. The animation is superb. The voice acting is out of this world, and the story itself is very enthralling. In my opinion, this is another solid entry for a Star Trek Prodigy. I'm going to give this one a 3.75 out of 5 on my regular 5-point scale. I wish I had somebody in the audience who would watch this so I could get their opinion on what they thought of this episode, because, yeah, It could have been a 4 easily, but I know that there's a whole nother part to this episode. So this is just half of a story, which is why I kind of knocked it down that quarter of a point, because it is a whole different, it's a whole second part to this story. And I'm gonna hope that we're picking back up on the planet that they landed on, and finishing out this saga, what's going on. We still have to worry about the diviner, because Gwen did call her daddy before all the shit went down on the ship. She called her daddy, so you can expect him with his evil behind to show up. um Janeway has been reprogrammed to only listen to Gwen, so I want to see what happens with that. How does that change? The protostar was yanked down to the surface of this planet, and that was a pretty big crash. So I'm wondering if it sustained like some pretty bad damage, or what can we expect? What shape can we expect the protostar to be in the next time we see it? Yeah, it's got me completely hook, line, and sinker. I enjoyed it. Um, and while I prepare myself for the next thing, I'm gonna ask y'all, what you watching? What are you watching, streaming? What's on your mind? Yeah, so if you're watching something, streaming something, if it's something that you got your eye on, now's the time to make your recommendations to your to fellow viewers of After the Snap. Put them down in the chat. I want to know what you're watching so we could talk about it. All right. And while I am kind of waiting, we're gonna end this show on Red Notice, because again, I'm gonna be going into spoilers for Red Notice as well. So this next discussion is going to be our Wheel of Time pregame discussion. But again, I'm gonna give you an opportunity, if you are watching, if you are recommending something that you have already watched, if you have a series, a movie, a TV show that you think other viewers should keep their eye on, put it in the chat. I want to talk about it. And oh, and by the way, Star Trek Prodigy, again, the mid-season finale is November 18th, and Star Trek Discovery also starts on November 18th. So we got one going out and one coming in, all at the same darn time. Another thing that I want to announce before I go into the Wheel of Time is that for my top contributors on my page, and right now my top contributor for the probably since I've been doing the live streams, my top contributor is Lysandra Taylor. So I want to thank you for financially supporting my After the Snap, and all of the things that I'm getting into, all of these live streams that I've been putting on. She has been the top contributor. And then following right behind her is Clarence. Clarence from Discussing Trek. So he has his own Trek podcast, and he has been a huge support to me as well. In fact, he has been a patron of mine for well over a year. I think a little over a year now. I ain't gonna say well over a year, but a little over a year. Clarence has been showing me support on Patreon. Now, you also could support me on Patreon if you are so inclined by going to patreon.com/Tasha Pierce, choosing a tier, and uh, pledging your financial support to the show to help make improvements. Anything can be improved. And it is also down on the ticker at the bottom of your screen. You can see what you can see my Patreon account, so that you can go and subscribe. One of the I got Lysandra, who is telling us that Home Alone, the new reboot from on Disney Plus, She really liked it. She said it was a really cute movie. So I'm probably not going to watch it, but I will say that if Lysandra say watch it, I think you should give it a chance. Give it an opportunity. If this is your bag, if it's in your wheelhouse, these types of movies. I'm really glad that you shared that, sis. Somebody out there is going to appreciate the fact that you have shared what you're watching with the crew. And she says, "You're welcome to me." Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, so Home Alone is on the list of what we're watching. I'm not watching it, but members of the audience are watching Home Alone, and I think that we should give that an opportunity. Uh, if especially if you're in the mood for a Christmas movie or a family movie, that's probably going to be right up your alley. So if that's all we watching today, I'm going to go on to the Wheel of Time. Now, the Wheel of Time is, like I said at the top. Oh, let me see. I got another comment. Oh, Lysandra also said Happiness Ever After was really good. I think that was on Netflix. Remind me if that was on Netflix or not. If Happiness Ever After is a Netflix film, and she said that it was relatively new movie, so I might check that one out. I'll give that one a chance because I don't have to engage in a whole series. I can just watch one movie. I think I can handle that. And she also says, "Boy, Lysandra, you've been busy watching. I hate to know what else you was watching." But she also said Red Notice was really good, and we will be discussing Red Notice. It's going to be the last topic of today, so that anybody who has not yet seen the movie can skate out so that they won't get spoiled. But if you don't mind being spoiled, I will be talking about Red Notice right after the Wheel of Time. Now, Davina said she wanted to see that. I don't know which movie she wanted to see. Was it Happiness Ever After? Was it Home Alone? Or was it Red Notice? I'm pretty sure she's going to let us know down in the chat. And Lysandra knew exactly what she was talking about because she said it's really good. I'm confused. Davina added that she fell asleep on Red Notice, but what she saw was good. And we're going to discuss that on the other side of the Wheel of Time. But I appreciate you guys for putting in your recommendations on what you watching. Even Davina is in awe of all the stuff that Lysandra has watched, because it seems like she's watched everything. And she said, "Yes, on Netflix." Okay. Yeah, so I'm excited to hear if anybody takes these recommendations. You can let us know by joining us on Stream Something Sunday next week. You know, you always come back. I don't bite. Or you can just hit me, hit my email. The email address is going across the bottom of your screen right now. So if you want to let me know what you thought of these recommendations today, and I'll share them on my next broadcast. Stream Something Sunday. And one more recommendation of something to watch that she's streaming is the Flintstones. So you can watch the Flintstones as well. There's nothing wrong with a throwback. Sometimes I feel like a kid again when I start to watch the things back from our childhood, and the Flintstones would probably be one of them. Lysandra got all kinds of recommendations here. She got another one here called Love Hard. She said Love Hard was good. That sounds like me. That's what I do. That's why I don't love nobody right now. I love hard. I don't know if I need to watch that movie because I live that. in reality. um, yeah. So if I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes to see if we get any more suggestions on things to watch. Like, what are you watching? What you watching? Matter of fact, I'm gonna hit y'all with the intro, with the what you watching slide one more again. If you're watching something that has not been put in the comments so far, I want to hear about it. Tell me what you're watching. Um, Davina added that she watched Maid on Netflix and it was good. Maid, is that a series or a movie? I think it's a series, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's a series. If you also are interested in, especially if you got Netflix, they've given a lot of good recommendations down here. I would really like for somebody to take the recommendation, tell me what they thought of those shows that have been recommended. I'm super excited to hear your comments. Um, Clarence is in the chat. I didn't even know you was here, sir. He said Love Life season 2 on HBO Max. Love Life. I don't even think I've heard of that one. And that's a series too. Y'all trying to hit me with these series. I got 3711 series all over the place. Now, Mrs. Anderson, Davina's mother, says she loved Shang-Chi, and you tell your mom I said, hey. And Lysandra is interested in watching Maid as well. So got a lot of suggestions. Somebody is gonna steer you in the right direction. I'm thinking maybe I can do, what did I say? What movie did I say, Bun? I said I was going to do Happiness Ever After. That might be something I can watch. I said Love Hard is a no-go for me because it reminds me of the life that I'm living right now. Speaking of the life I'm living right now, Love Life, which I have none, but I might watch one episode just to see if I could get a feel. And if I feel like it, if I feel good about it, I'm gonna continue to watch it after we get through 7 million different streaming shows that we are already committed to. Yeah, thank you so much, you guys, for giving me all of those wonderful recommendations. Girl, last recommendation from you crazy lady. She said Resort to Love was really good on Netflix as well. Lysandra has given us basically a catalog. You got a whole week before you'll see me on Stream Something Sunday again. And maybe somebody will take her up on all of these wonderful suggestions. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat, for giving me your suggestions. And if you got more, just keep putting them down there. I'll get back to the comments. I want to get into Wheel of Time. I want to get I'm getting my mind pre-gamed for it because um I'm very interested. If you've seen the trailer, and I posted it on the After the Snap Hangout, it's probably been a week or so ago that I posted it. So you might have to dig a little deep to find that trailer on my page, or you can just look it up. The Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime. That rhymed. All of that rhymed. But yeah, um, I'm super interested. It looks stupendous, superb, beautiful. And a lot of conversation has been had that this could be compared to Game of Thrones. I don't know nothing about that. I didn't watch the Game of Thrones. I'm just getting HBO Max within the last few months here. So, um, excuse me. I didn't do Game of Thrones, but I probably will revisit it to see what the hubbub was. But one thing that I can say that the feeling that it invoked in me was Lord of the Rings. Now, it did give me that vibe. So, if you want to know some of the things that gives you a little idea of what the lore is behind the Wheel of Time, right here today is when we're going to discuss it. I'm going to hit people with the spoilers because if you want to go into the Wheel of Time completely blind, I'm about to drop some stuff that I found out uh, that was part of the novels. I can't say whether or not it's going to be part of the show, but I'm gonna hit you with the spoiler warning anyway. So if you want to exit, here's your chance. And that was your spoiler warning. That was your that was your spoiler warning. Um, Now the Wheel of Time. Here's the synopsis that I got from Amazon Prime. Moiraine, a member of a magical organization, takes 5 young people on a journey, believing that one of them might be the reincarnation of the dragon, a powerful individual prophesied to save the world or destroy it. And that sounds really good to me. Just the synopsis. This thing begins on November 19th. I'm all in 100% of the way. The Wheel of Time is based on a lengthy series of high fantasy books by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson that first published in the 1990s. Uh, Jordan, the original author of these books, died in 2007. That is when Brandon Sanderson took over and completed the final 3 books. So he was hand selected for finishing this series by the wife of Robert Jordan, and she was also his editor. So they had notes and everything and outlines compiled to continue to bring the story to its conclusion, and he was able to help finish that for her. So now some more of the deeper lore outside of the description that Amazon gave us of their series is that at the dawn of time, a deity known as the Creator forged the universe and the Wheel of Time, which spins the pattern of the ages, using the lives of men and women as its threads. Now, the wheel has 7 spokes, each representing an age, and it is rotated by the one power which flows from the true source. So it already sounds dense, it already sounds heavy. And, you know, I like stuff like that. I can get into it. I'm glad that I uh, did choose to like the terminology, the words that they use to describe these characters in their series. I'm glad I kind of looked it up because I'm like, yeah, they might throw all these terms off at me, and I would have gotten confused. Now, there are 2 big things to remember about the wheel. First, the wheel weaves the pattern of each age. Whatever happens, happens because the wheel wills it. That was a mouthful. Second, the wheel turns thanks to the energy of the true source, which is also the source of the one power. So now we got the one power, we got the true source, we got the wheel, we got the pattern of ages, we got a lot of words. Now, the one power is just what it sounds like. It's the magic of this world, wielded by the people known as channelers, and it's made up of 2 opposing yet complementary halves, kind of your yin and your yang, your masculine, your feminine. Sidar, which is wielded by women, and Sidin, which is wielded by men. So you have both energies. When the Wheel of Time begins, only women are allowed to channel the one power. Those who do make up this powerful organization is called the Aes Sedai, which is divided into different orders called Ajas. And I know this just sounds like a bunch of words, don't it? Wheel of Time novels were marketed as adult fantasy, even though they were popular amongst younger readers as well. We know that this was intended to be a heavier, denser kind of lore behind uh, this fantasy series. Now, so far, the Wheel of Time showrunner has 8 seasons planned out in adaptation of 14 novels. So we know that these showrunners, they get prepared to do however many seasons that they plan, in which this one in particular was 8 seasons that are planned. That doesn't mean that this is going to get 8 seasons. But what we do know is we're going to get at least two. It has been renewed for a second season, even prior to the premiere. So we're going to get at least 2 seasons of Amazon's Wheel of Time, and each episode is approximately an hour long. Now, this first season has 8 episodes. Again, it's starting on Prime Video on November 19th. And it's going to start with 3 episodes. The first episode is called A Place of Safety. The second episode is called Leave Taking. The third episode is called Shadows Waiting. So that is getting put on Stream Something Sunday. We will be discussing the first 3 episodes of The Wheel of Time next week, Sunday. So if you want to watch along, it's coming on Amazon Prime. A lot of us have Amazon Prime. So if you want to follow along and join along and watch, the red carpet has been rolled out. Now, does anybody have any experience with the novels, The Wheel of Time, or has anybody got any plans to watch this show, or what are you feeling about The Wheel of Time? Let me know in the chat. I am very interested in knowing what people think. What kind of feel do you have for this series? It's got a lot of character names that I can't say, so I am waiting to hear how they're pronounced when I watch the show, because I can't make my mouth do this stuff. I don't know how to say this stuff. I'm gonna skip down just a little and pick up Davina, because she says she's probably gonna check it out. She's gonna give the Wheel of Time a chance, and I hope more people do, because I really do want this to be a very lively discussion. I think I cut myself off earlier too when I was talking about my top contributors, because why I even brought that up, Lord, I don't know what is wrong with me. Why I even brought that up is because the Hawkeye series is going to be starting on November 24th. And I think it's starting with 2 episodes. Well, when that series starts, I am going to be doing a live stream watch along. And I'm only going to give my top contributors, anybody for the month who has contributed uh, over $20 for the month. I will send you the link, and you can join me on a watch along of Disney Plus's Hawkeye series. If you're not interested in it, the invitation is extended to everyone who has donated $20 or more for the month of November. So if you haven't yet, you can always drop a super chat. You can always hit me on Cash App, and I'm going to go ahead and let that banner go across so you know how to reach me there if you'd like to donate uh, in other ways besides being a patron, or doing it in a super chat. Got a lot of different ways that you can donate to the show. I appreciate all the financial help that I get. And one of the ways that I am showing my appreciation is by doing that live stream watch along, where we'll all just synchronize our watches, hit play at the same time, watch Hawkeye, discuss it long before Stream Something Sunday. So just another way to connect with my audience. And also I put a lot of patron only content I've been dabbling at making sure that I get patron only content. It's some of it is just ridiculous stuff, is day in the life of Tasha type stuff. But I'm putting stuff up there for patrons only. So if you want access to that extra content, then become a patron. And again, I've already put it up once, but I'll put it up again if you would like to become a patron and get access to uh, some of that extra content. Yeah. Last and not least, oh, I said I was going to go back and pick up this comment. Um, and oh, by the way, if you're out there, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you're watching, do me a favor, follow me there, subscribe, give me a like, give me a like, because I put together these shows and hope that I'm resonating with an audience, but I put them together for you all, and I hope that I'm resonating with y'all. I can't tell by my metrics a lot of the time because I get more views on the rebroadcast than I do during the stream. But whenever you're watching this, please hit the like button and make sure you subscribe with your notifications turned on so that you will not miss an upload. Oh no. Y'all like my Stream Something Sundays cup? I do. Oh, okay. And the other comment that I wanted to pick up was Davina. She was making other recommendations for uh for Netflix, and these are things now. These ones, as I can tell, they've kind of been out they've been out for a little while. So maybe some people have caught these already. Ava Peppermint Extraction, all on Netflix. All good movies. So give those an opportunity and let me know what you thought of the recommendations that you got from your fellow viewers. Now, red notice, red notice, red notice. Now, I know a few of us have watched Red Notice already. So before you drop any spoilers in the comments, make sure that you are marking it with a warning so that people who don't want to be spoiled won't be spoiled. And again, I'm not hitting no spoilers unless I'm led in that direction. This show is a spoiler show, though. This is the reason we do this show with spoilers in mind. So if you've not yet seen Red Notice and you don't want to be spoiled for it, get the hell out of here. I'll see you next week on Stream Something Sunday or on one of the other 3 or 4 live streams that I do weekly. So if you're still here, I'm going to give you one last warning. Because if somebody in the comments wants to make a comment with a spoiler in it, I'm not going to stop them. That's what this show is for. It's for spoilers. All right. Red Notice. I'm gonna give you the synopsis. In the world of international crime, an Interpol agent attempts to hunt down and capture the world's most wanted art thief. Now, this movie had a limited theatrical release, which was on November 5th. And it came to Netflix this past Friday, so November 12th. The runtime was 1 hour, 57 minutes. You see me make that face, you know I got a little problem with their runtime. The budget of this movie was $200 million. Now, just to put a perspective to this $200 million, that's what it costs to make Marvel's Eternals. That's what it costs. And as a matter of fact, it's $35 million more than Dune. And when we talked about Dune, all you heard me talk about was the scale, the scope, the epicness of that movie. And then you got a Netflix movie that spent $35 million more making Red Notice than they did to make Dune. And that's a little scary. But this movie is starring Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. And that accounts for about $60 million of that price tag. $60 million is what it takes to get all three of these superstars in one movie. Good Lord, that's a lot of money. Oh gosh, that's a lot of money. Uh, yeah. See, it also was starring Rita Aria as Inspector Dawes. So Inspector Dawes grew on me. Now she is not as well known as the other three, Johnson, Reynolds, and Godot. But they're not. She's not as prolific an actress, but she was serviceable in the role of this Interpol agent who was always one step behind all the time. Now, this movie will give you like these National Treasure, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Ocean 11, those kind of vibes. It was heavily influenced by those movies. You got this whole buddy comedy, heist movie, cops and robbers vibe. All of that is just a mashup of all of that. And I truly, um, I liked. I guess what I'm saying, I liked the influences, and that you can clearly mark which at what point in the movie that it was influenced by one of these previous movies. Now, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, is Agent Hartley. So basically, in this movie, he played himself again, but he is Hollywood's most bankable talent. You put him in your movie, and what do I be saying? You're gonna get some booties and some seats. So put him in the movie. It's gonna be booties in the seats, but he played himself. And when I say that, I mean this is no different than any other Dwayne the Rock Johnson role, but he may have been playing himself as part of the design, because in the twist that I admittedly didn't see coming, um, he revealed that he wasn't himself. Now, Ryan Reynolds is Nolan Booth, also very heavy on himself. Very heavy, but a little bit more nuanced than what we got with Dwayne Johnson's performance as Hartley. I saw Gal Gadot. I saw her as the most different from what I'm used to seeing her typical self. I saw her do a little bit different in her acting than I have seen her before, and she was playing the bishop. And also, I kind of realized that, hey, she might be able to pull off this evil queen in Snow White, because she showed a different side of herself in this movie, and I liked it. I liked it. I'm gonna pick up before I go into who directed. I'm gonna pick up a couple comments over here before I get piled up on. Um, so what is it? I want to say Jimmy, and I know it ain't Jimmy. Why am I doing that? Davina said that budget was. Why is my thing not showing me your comment? That budget was due to the cast and the locations. So we got that. Lysandra said that's too much for that money. That's a lot of money. But if you want those three people, three of the most bankable talents in Hollywood, if you want them in your movie, you're gonna pay. Lysandra also said it was good, but wow, that's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. She also said it was action from the beginning to the end, and it was. If you are looking for an action flick, you found yourself one. Davina, I always want to say Jimmy, even though I know this is not Jimmy. I know it's Davina. Davina said exactly what I thought about National Treasure as soon as it came on. And she also liked the versatility that she saw. And I want to say that we're talking about Gal Gadot. She liked her versatility. And yeah, I enjoyed seeing a different side of Gal Gadot. Now, this movie was directed by Rawson Marshall Thurber. I don't know why I have so many problems saying that name. So, if you remember the other day, we were talking about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movies that was kind of like a ripoff of another movie. Skyscraper was the movie I was talking about, and I said it was kind of a die-hard ripoff. Well, Rawson Marshall Thurber directed that as well. And he also directed Central Intelligence, which had Dwayne Johnson starring with Kevin Hart. So suffice to say, they like working with one another. They've worked with one another multiple times. So The Rock likes working with Rawson Marshall Thurber. And if Rawson Marshall Thurber is as smart as his name insinuates that he is, he better like working with The Rock because, again, booties and seats. You're getting booties and seats. Thurber also has a screenwriter credit, which I wouldn't tell nobody else that because the script was boo-boo. But the script was boo-boo. I ain't gonna say complete garbage, but it was like very stilted dialogue in places. Now, what was I going to say? Yeah, stilted dialogue, except for Ryan Reynolds, because if you are familiar with Ryan Reynolds and the way that he performs in these movies, damn your dialogue. He's going to ad lib a whole heck of a lot with that sarcastic wit. And that carried this flipping movie. Even though it was Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds, we needed that because where the dialogue was cheesy, Ryan Reynolds was able to snark his way into a bunch of laughs. A bunch of laughs. It was filmed at some remarkable locations. The locales, beautiful. They just beautifully done as far as capturing the absolute beauty, the splendor of the locations. Bali, Rome, it went on. I remember Egypt. I can't remember them all. Cairo. There was a few other places in there. Argentina. Yeah, it was all over the place. So yeah, beautiful locations, caught beautifully by the cinematographer. Excuse me. I did like globetrotting with this group. Lots of actions, again, just like Lysandra said, lots of actions, some of it more ridiculous than others, some sequences. So some of the sequences were believable, and some you had to suspend your disbelief to even believe that this shit could happen. So turn your brain off because you might not be needing it. You want to make yourself feel like this is some shit that can happen, even though this is some stuff that cannot happen. Now, remember the other day when we were talking about Shang-Chi, and I talked about how uncomfortable I was on that scene where the scaffolding, I actually felt really a bunch of anxiety as I was watching that. There were a couple of scenes in this movie that I felt the exact same way. And I'm wondering, am I getting to be like super afraid of heights that I don't even want to see it on TV? But yes, there were some scenes that were kind of harrowing, the action sequences, and I felt uncomfortable watching them like walking on the ledge on the outside of the prison when they got locked up. I felt some type of way, so I think I've got another thing in my neurosis, a new neurosis. But yeah, well, like I said, we talked about the dialogue. I'm gonna go to my next point. Now, a lot of what I was saying didn't work as far as dialogue goes, once you get to the end, the twist at the end um, made more of that dialogue work. Before you know what the twist is, it just seems like garbage dialogue. But then when you get to the end, it's like, oh, wait a minute. This is why things were said the way they were said because of this. But that's not the case all the time. So again, the twist, I didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. Now, let's see. Oh, Davina said that she basically fell asleep uh in the middle of, I'm trying to think, where's that comment? I missed it. I know she said that she fell asleep on Red Notice. And one of the reasons, I'm not going to say this is the reason why she fell asleep, but I can see how that can happen, even with a movie that has as much action as this one. And that is, in my opinion, the first 35 minutes was super interesting, got us super involved. We wanted to know these characters and what roles they were set to play in this movie. We wanted to know what the stakes were, what it is they were looking for, and all of that. We got all of those answers in the first 35 minutes. The middle act of this movie, which was probably about another 35 to 40 minutes, it was sloppy. It was sloppy. And by sloppy, I mean it was up and down. So much of it could have been cut out, which would have saved money on this big ass budget. And it also would have saved a lot of people from nodding off in the second act. The second act got a little up and down. It went a little too long. And yeah, it just got sloppy. Now, did that make me say I'm about to turn this movie off? No, it didn't take me out of the movie completely, but it is a reality. It is a thing that could have contributed to some people falling off at that 45-minute mark because it was not enough happening in that time frame. That final act, that last 30 to 45 minutes was bonkers. It was almost outside of the realm of any possibility. It was bonkers, and that will bring you back in. So that if that middle act kind of was a lull for you, let me know in the comments if the third act brought you back into it. Even though ridiculous shit was happening, at least stuff was happening, where was we? Twist ending. I didn't expect it. It was so unexpected. And it looks like they are hoping for a sequel to Red Notice. If you checked out the ending of Red Notice, it definitely appears that they are looking for a part two. And I don't know. I'm wondering how I feel about that. I'm not 100% sure if I'm up for another part of this movie, but I can honestly say if it comes on Netflix and I don't have to go to the movies or no crap to see it, if it's made for Netflix, I probably would be down for the sequel. It's mindless entertainment. Basically, I said turn your brain off. So turn your brain off because it's mindless entertainment. If you're a fan of The Rock, if you're a fan of Ryan Reynolds, if you're a fan of Gal Gadot, you are going to eat this shit up. If you're not diehard fans of these three actors, you still might have fun with it. And you'll probably forget this movie exists by next week, Friday. But in this moment of watching it could be fun. You're not getting award-winning performances. You're not going to get technical excellence. Even though it was technically sound, it wasn't above average technically. So, yeah, you ain't gonna get all of that. What you're going to have is a good way to pass some time. Sometimes that's all you want. This is a good movie to spend an hour or two chilling, Netflix and chilling. It's unseasonably warm here right now in Houston, but if you in a colder place, y'all better pop some popcorn and watch this movie. Um, Now, again, because you're not getting this award-winning performances or this technical excellence or any of that, you're not getting that from this movie. And the critics pretty much that's what they're looking for when they give a movie high marks. They're looking for whether this type of movie is going to make some noise in award season, or did it do above average in any of these categories. And they didn't like it. 61% of the critics were like, no, 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 no. And if you read some of the reviews, they came hard for this movie. The critics did. On the other hand, the audience, and when you're making a movie, yes, you want the critics to love your movie. Yes, you want to be acknowledged for the work that you put in. If you feel like that you're deserving of that acknowledgement, but you really want the audience to resonate with your film. And 92% of the audience said, we are here for Gal Gadot. We are here for Dwayne Johnson, and we are here for Ryan Reynolds. They love this movie. 90 by the score of 92%. Loved it. Now, what did I think? Of course, I've littered this little review, and I've littered it with, I guess, clues to how I feel. I thought it was a decent way to pass some time. And that means I've given it on my scale from 1 to 5. I've given this movie a 3, right in the middle. It ain't horrible. It's not the greatest thing that I've seen this year, but it's definitely a good way to spend an hour, at least an hour and a half. That other 20 minutes of this movie they could have cut out, but that's just me. Now let me know down in the comments what your thoughts were about this movie. I'm going to go back up, pick up Davina's comment where she says, yes, Ryan Reynolds was hilarious. Per usual, he is always really good, especially when he's given room to be Ryan Reynolds. When you look at Deadpool, when you and I look, see what I mean? I had to laugh just thinking about Deadpool. So when you think of him in those type of movies where there's a lot of room for him to play with the script and insert his own sarcasm and snark, you're gonna have a good time with Ryan Reynolds. And Lysandra agreed that Ryan was funny. To me, uh, his performance carried the movie, and I say that because Dwayne Johnson is always the straight guy. He's always the person who, he works a whole heck of a lot better in these kind of buddy movies when the person that he is working alongside is funny in their own right. Uh, Kevin Hart, of course, y'all know I got a little thing where I don't particularly like his brand of comedy, but I know that that man is funny. And I know that when he and The Rock work together, that dynamic is, I mean, the dynamic is even crazier between them because of the hulking size of Dwayne The Rock Johnson and how small uh, uh, Kevin Hart is. So, I mean, it's not only visually a juxtaposition, it is a demeanor juxtaposed as well. Dwayne Johnson is always playing something very serious, very serious, very straightforward. You have Ryan Reynolds, you have Kevin Hart, who are always playing the comic relief, and it works. It works. And Gal Gadot, she just showed me some stuff. Now there were parts in this movie where you saw, like for instance, Gal Gadot fighting with The Rock and Kevin Hart. I mean, not Kevin Hart, Ryan Reynolds, fighting them in that I guess it was like a museum, or was that the chamber where the eggs were? She had that spear. If she wasn't doing nothing but playing Wonder Woman in that moment, and it is a reminder to the audience of who these people are best known as, and it's a wink to the audience that, hey, remember, she's Wonder Woman too. And then Ryan Reynolds, there was that part when they went to that masquerade party, and they had the little masquerade mask, of Phantom of the Opera type masks on, and it put me in the mind of when Ryan Reynolds played in that horrible Green Lantern movie. It's like that movie was so freaking horrible. It was such a waste of Ryan Reynolds' talent. But that to me was kind of a little wink. Remember when he wore the mask the last time? He sucked in that movie. So it was that kind of that vibe. I enjoyed the performances for what they were. I wasn't looking for them to uh to win any awards. I just wanted to feel good in that moment, and that's what this movie did. Uh, Lysandra said another part to the movie. It's more countries they have to go to, and they pretty much globetrotted this time. So I can't imagine if we get a sequel and where else. What are they covering? What first of all, what is the prize? Like, what are you guys trying to heist this time? And where else is there to go? And do we really think that they're going to spend another $200 million on a sequel for this movie? I don't know. I'm not saying that they won't, depending on how well this movie does. But I don't think the next movie is going to cost no $200 million. They can cancel that probably. Uh, yeah, that's Red Notice for me. If you guys got any more comments for Red Notice, down in the comments below, I will be looking for them. I'll be looking for them. And in the meantime, while I'm waiting to see if anybody has anything else to say, don't forget to push the subscribe button. Subscribe to After the Snap for movie reviews, streaming series recaps, and discussions, and entertainment news, because I do entertainment news twice a week now. I do the midweek meltdown on Wednesdays, and I also bring you weekly wrap up on Saturdays. God, what the hell is wrong? How do you forget the name of your kids, girl? These is your babies. So you guys are here for Stream Something Sunday. So you knew I'd be here today. So the next time you see me should be Wednesday, but of course I have not been above. I haven't been above putting in an extra live stream during the week somewhere either. This week, Film Review Fridays comes back. Oh, how excited are you for that? Yeah, Film Review Fridays is coming back, and it's going to be covering Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'm so excited to see that movie. So that is the movie that we'll be reviewing on Friday. If you're watching me on Twitch, my schedule is right there. It's right there for you. All you got to do is click on it. You'll see what the times and the days that I do each show. You will also, on Facebook, if you follow me on Facebook, you will also get notifications that I'm about to do my thing on Facebook. So yeah, Ghostbusters Afterlife is Friday. Now I'm adding a show. I know y'all like, damn girl, you got more shows on your channel. But yeah, I want my channel to be like when you turn to ABC on your TV, you don't see the same type of program all day. You get a cornucopia of programs. Well, that's the way I want you to feel when you visit After the Snap. I want you to know that, hey, if I want my entertainment news weekly or mid-weekly, I can get that from Tasha over on After the Snap. And if I want to talk about streaming series and recaps and get ideas on good stuff to watch from the fellow viewers, then you know that on Sundays, that show comes on. Film Review Friday is just a film review of the big film that came out that week, and this week we've got two. So we have Ghostbusters Afterlife. Why do I keep stumbling over that? We got Ghostbusters Afterlife, and we also have King Richard. So y'all know, you guys thinking to yourself, Tasha, why are you not covering King Richard on Film Review Friday? Because that's that other show you thought I forgot. You know, I am a little scatterbrained. I did not forget. That's the other show that I was going to tell y'all about. I'm about to start doing More Than a Movie's Monday. So on More Than a Movie, we're going to talk about shows and movies that are more than that, their life. So in that, it's just basically documentaries, biopics, things that are quote unquote based on a true story. That's where we going to get down on More Than a Movie Monday. Now, if I can't find content for More Than a Movie Monday, that's where you guys come in. If it's something that you want to talk about on More Than a Movie Monday and you've got a TV show, not a series, do not hit me with no series, like a documentary, a biopic, things like that. Or even if you tell me like an episode of a series that is based upon a true story, that's something I can get into, and we can chop it up on Mondays. That's when you guys tell me. But this week it's going to be King Richard. We're going to talk about King Richard on Monday. Not this Monday coming up, the following Monday. This Monday coming up tomorrow, you won't see me. I've done about 10 hours of content over the last, say, 4 days. And your girl is so exhausted putting this crap together. I mean, it's putting the crap together to me. I hope that it's not crap to you, but yeah. So I'm tomorrow I'm off. And I think I'm going to be off Tuesday as well. So don't look for me tomorrow or Tuesday, but you can definitely join me on Wednesday for the midweek meltdown. And we've been trying to do an Eternals spoiler talk. I've given up on it. Every time we try to do it, the people who wanted to do an Eternal spoiler talk aren't in the chat. And then the next time they are in the chat, I forget about the spoiler talk. So it just means that it wasn't meant to be. Maybe when it hits Disney Plus, which should be probably within a month or so. When it hits Disney Plus, then we'll go ahead and we'll chop it up about the Eternals with full spoilers. Yeah, so if you guys don't have anything else, I'm gonna give you a chance to give me a couple comments. If not, I'm gonna bounce. Again, I set aside 3 hours. If you guys want to let me off the hook in an hour and a half, I am here for it. Because that means my weekend. Today is my Friday. My weekend gets to start a little early. All right. I got a little quiet. So yep. Keep your eyes on the prize. Send me your show ideas, your topics, suggestions, feedback to sinister.media.network@gmail.com. I am, because the other day for Disney Plus Day, Clarence and Angus Osano and I were discussing Star Wars content. And I think I might have said, I want to understand what the real diehard Star Wars fans had against this movie. Well, Angus actually sent me some feedback to my email address, and I am going to definitely look into the resources that he gave me, because I don't want to know. I want to know why people feel some type of way. Make me feel some type of way. All right. I've given you guys an opportunity. You guys have said, Tasha, go ahead and you get to take the rest of this day off. So I appreciate you for joining me here today on Stream Something Sunday. I will see you again on Wednesday for the midweek meltdown. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for contributing to the conversation and to the discussion. Your beautiful recommendations. I will see you Wednesday, I hope. If I don't see you Wednesday, you know the red carpet is always rolled out for you to see me whenever you want to. Okay? Peace to the Middle East. Bye.